Hi,
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, good. Okay, it worked out. Uh,
Yay!
so I guess that's my name is Amelia.
Like I was thinking like Amelia Earhart or like I was at first I
Uh,
was like, who the hell is this hoe? Like
that's great. No, yeah, pretty good idea who Amelia is. Uh,
I was so confused. I was
yeah, I
like,
was like, wait, who named my computer Amelia?
I thought it was a personal joke. Like,
No, it's actually one of Meg's old dance friends. And one of our
oh,
really good like family friends, for our family, anyways.
I'm
It's
sorry, Amelia. I just called you a hoe.
oh my God. She's definitely not. But I think it's interesting that all these years later, like things keep popping up that I'm like, darn those kids. So okay, I guess my computer's name is Amelia. Good to know. Didn't know
Or
that.
your whole
Profile.
Zoom account profile thing. I don't even know how to change that.
I don't
Shoot.
either.
I can't keep up with all these like apps and programs and things to do these things.
Right.
Like the interface, because it changes and then I'm not using them all the time. And I'm like, I need someone younger to help me out. I've gotten to that age.
I've definitely gotten to that point, especially when I'm just like getting frustrated and I'm like, this should not be this difficult. And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh my gosh, somebody just help me. And then I get, the 20-year-old who's like, "Ugh," like they can't even. And I'm like, really?
We've been there.
Yeah, no, that's very true. But I just have to keep like reminding them about like being patient and like this is new. We need to work through this. Don't do it for me, but show me how to do it so that
Hmm.
the next time this happens and I'm getting frustrated, you don't get frustrated because you did this for me the last time. Well, just show it to me. Show me what I'm doing
Hmm.
wrong. It's not that difficult.
Right,
So
absolutely. I don't think anybody's like unknowledgeable. We're doing a lot of that at work too because a lot of things are moving from programs on computers to applications online. And so that
oh,
integration or that flip over
right,
is so um other for a lot of people and a lot of the older folks too.
right.
So here comes me, a mid-30 whippersnapper, compared to these old salty guys, and they're like, "I just don't get it, Sean." I'm like, "All right, well, just here we go. This is what we're doing." Like
Right.
it's
It just
that.
takes a little bit of like grace and patience is all it really truly is.
Hmm.
And I think that a lot of people kind of forget that. And I think that, my generation also kind of feels that way towards our parents' generation. They were boomers and I'm a very late Gen X. Like I'm the tail end of Gen X.
Hmm.
So having grown up with technology and without technology, I can kind of, I'm almost that bridge. But just getting frustrated and just like, I don't know why you keep locking yourself out of things. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Like I don't know why your computer has a virus. What did you do? What did you click on? Like, I don't know what to say.
Why did you download this? Well,
Yeah,
the man on the telephone said that, he needed this. Why
yeah,
were you talking to a random stranger on the
right,
telephone? Like,
right.
the bank
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
call you. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Like, basic day one. Day
yeah.
one. Um,
Don't download anything.
don't answer telephone calls from random people who claim to be here for you. And when they say, can you do one thing? No. Huge red flag.
Yeah,
Huge red
yeah.
flag. I mean, I understand your point of view there though, like that bridge between Gen X and millennial too, like that. I'm seeing it from your kids who are a decade younger than me, and I'm seeing you, and like being in the middle of it all. It's like it's so extraordinary to be in the center of it, or like for me to be in the center of it, much like how you are with the boomers, and be like, we're really doing this right now. Like we've got apps on this side and we've got analog on that side. It's like this weird in between. I feel for my generation where it's like you have to learn how to speak iOS and MS DOS at the same
Right.
time,
Yeah, exactly.
and somehow learn how to communicate to both at the same time. And
Make it make sense.
yeah, like, and actually last night, true to form, like a lot of the guys that I play video games with, when they're like shoot 'em up games or community games, you and I grew up with, oh, I want to go play video games at my friend's house. You go to your friend's house, they have a second controller and they play with you, and you're sitting on the couch together, right? Um, and now it's like you can't even be bothered to drive over to your friend's house to go play a video game. Instead, you have to do it online, and then you have a lobby, and then one of you has the host, and then after one of you is hosting the lobby, everyone can jump inside and play on their consoles. That is too much for me. At that point, I'm like, my friend Will was like, "Oh, just host a lobby, Sean." I'm like, I turned on the Xbox. Like, I go to the boomer side of
Right.
technology, and I'm like, I pressed A. What does A do?
I get too frustrated. Honestly, I mean, I do play video games. I think the biggest jump for me in technology when it comes to video games, I don't do any
Hmm.
online playing because I just suck at video games. I just do it for fun. And
Hmm.
I get very frustrated and I throw controllers still. So that's a huge issue. I have not overcome that. I don't think I ever will. So I just kind of tread carefully and I just know, not to go all Leroy Jenkins on anyone. So I just don't play online. But for me, and it was during the pandemic, I was like, "Oh, I want a new game." I want GTA. I think it was like GTA 5 is the one that I downloaded or something. I was just like, I
Hmm.
feel like, stealing cars and mugging people. I'm gonna
And
do
and
GTA.
and 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 going to hooker bars, and
Never made it that far because I couldn't figure out how to drive the damn car. But anyways,
me
that aside,
neither. Me
that
neither.
aside, I did eventually figure it out, but I was never good enough to like outrun anybody or anything like that. But
Yeah.
for me, it was, oh my gosh, I did not have to go to the store to hunt for this game. I could just
Yeah.
download it now. And that was like, finally, like, okay, we
Hmm.
finally have made it where I don't have to like, oh, Walmart doesn't have it. Let's see if, Fred Meyers or Target or whoever who has it. So
GameStop,
I don't have to worry about
wherever.
it anymore. No, I'm just like, what you got, PlayStation? What's going on? What you got to download? What can
Yeah.
I get?
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
I will say that it took forever to download half these games because I bought like a bunch
Hmm.
and downloaded a whole bunch of them. And to be honest with you, I got so bored like waiting for them to download that there's a few that I've bought and paid for, and I never even played them. So
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. That's why I love Gold, because you pay for a subscription, and then or the PlayStation, whatever PlayStation has, and then like there's a whole lot. It's like the Netflix version of video
gotcha.
game consoles. So
Right.
I could just, if I like it, then I like it. If I don't, then I just delete it out and yeah, move on,
Yeah. But I mean,
Like,
really GTA, you really can't go wrong with that one though. You know?
yeah, I did. I,
No,
I
but
tried.
really, I mean, it's a great story. I mean, you know what? I feel like driving this car today and oh, I can't figure out how to get onto that road, so I'm just gonna do cookies right here and wait for the cops. Like if you're looking to waste time, it's a good one to waste time.
It is a good one to waste time on. Absolutely, absolutely. Because but I had to get past the tutorial mode, and then like that was difficult for me because I was like, I never looked at like a controller. Like it's like this thing has like a attenuator right here, like just a little knob, right? But it's like that's just like the one thing, and then like a little clicky, right? GTA made that 20 other buttons,
Well, I still like
And
listen.
I never looked at my
So
hands and fear so much in my life, going like, "What is
so
this
I know
interface?"
like this is X and this is A and this is B and or triangle X O, whatever it is on the
Hmm.
PlayStation, whatever their little thing is, I'm still like, which one is it?
Yeah, I know,
That's
right?
what causes me to like throw it across the room. So
Hmm. Oh yeah, and like I think the last time you and I played together, we were playing Mario Brothers on the Wii, and I think you yelled "bubble," and you like jab, you jabbed me in a bubble, and I bubbled.
oh my gosh, that was bad. I remember that was the last time I actually played that game because I
Yeah, you
threw the
did, and we
color.
were at like World 5.
Something like that, yeah, and I
Yeah,
was I was so frustrated. I was
kicking
like,
ass.
"This is ridiculous," and I said other words.
Hmm.
I threw it, but I was smart enough to turn around and throw it at the couch, but that literally took like I had to physically stop and think for that split second to turn around, throw it at the couch and not at the TV because I was like, well, can't afford a new TV. TVs back then were not cheap.
They're still not cheap.
No,
Like they're still
you can get like a decent sized TV now for like way less than what we paid back in like, 2000.
2011 and
Yeah, yeah,
2008. Yeah, absolutely.
exactly. Like prices have changed considerably. So, um, you know, that was it. And I sold that game at a garage sale. I was like, nope, can't have it in my house. It's done. Sold it.
Oh my gosh.
But I still have the Wii. I still
Oh,
have,
okay. I was like, no,
oh
not all
gosh,
the.
no, 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 no. I have everything. I have the original Nintendo,
Yep.
have everything except for your N64. I don't have that.
Okay.
I think, no, I do have the N64. You have the Super
I do
Nintendo?
have my Super Nintendo.
I
Yeah.
have your N64 in the house with all
That's
the,
it.
so I
Yep.
have that, which is nice. There's a few doubles I noticed, but
I see a
you know,
fur baby.
yeah, I don't know who it is. Oh, it's Theodore.
Oh, that's Theodore?
That's Theo, and you can see my bed is a giant king size crib because Daisy's snoozing. I don't want her to fall off. So
That's true. That's fine though. I mean, that's compensating for Daisy.
yeah,
That's awesome. Speaking of pets, like before you moved to your new home, um,
you can tell everybody where I'm at. I think they picked up on that.
maybe, but regardless, I didn't want to like dox you on that. So Florida,
Thanks.
good old state of Florida, and it's alien monsters of creatures that live down there. Before that, you ran into a hiccup with stray cats, and like that was a whole learning experience that I had never dealt with before as an adult, and I was wanting you to share your experience with that. What like how many cats were strays? How many did you catch? Like what resources you use and like this the whole process because there was like neighbors that got in on this, right, to help you
Um,
out.
no, the neighbors actually, so they didn't necessarily help us out in ways of like
Oh, right,
finances.
right.
It was more of like they would come over and knock on our door.
Hmm.
Um, but it was just kind of something we fell into. Definitely was not something I was seeking out. It was very much a new life skill, I guess, that was unlocked. We moved into a home, not in Florida, in a
Hmm.
different state. And, I bought this house sight unseen from 3,000 miles away. So I didn't really know like what I was getting into. It just, from all the pictures and Google Maps and everything, it was in a neighborhood. So,
Hmm.
you don't really know until you move in.
Right.
Um, and we started noticing stray cats and kittens everywhere. And Theo is actually our very first. And he was hanging out on my basement wall, and I had to walk up, and it was probably a good 25 feet from the top down to the bottom. It was pretty significant. And he was
Hmm.
walking along, and this was right before I moved in. That guy I married was sitting in the office. Well, he was actually sitting in the dining room, and he was, teleworking because it was 2020. And he looked over and like in the middle of his meeting, like had to run out to go rescue this kitten off of the wall. And so he grabbed him and threw him in the bathroom. And that began our,
So
kind
there
of a
was
trek down, yeah, down rescuing. So I moved in
yeah
about 2 months later, left Seattle, moved in, and noticed cats everywhere. And I won't even tell you how it started, but it was tragic how it started, and it was a
yeah.
total accident. But I basically got very, very angry and was like, we can't live like this. There's
Hmm.
no way that we can live like this. And then we started beating on doors, asking neighbors like, what is going on? And we got feedback of like, oh, I've been here for 15 years and it's always been like this. I'm like, wait, you've been here for 15 years and you've seen this happen for 15 years and you've done nothing about it. You are the problem. You are a
Hmm.
huge part of this problem. So I ended up getting networked in with a rescue group, and I got networked in with a really good friend. I didn't know her previous to this.
Mhm.
We just became friends through chopping, and she taught me what she knew, and so began our adventure. We ended up, it ended up being 20 cats in 2 years, just in our colony, just ours. There was other colonies around us, but we didn't have I didn't have the resources financially to jump
Mhm.
into those, and also there was, another neighbor on the other side who was managing a colony on that side, and then, there was a few other cat people around, so it was not really a joint effort by
Mhm.
anybody, and the one who lived behind me, right before I left, I actually had to tell her that she needed to start having the cats clipped, their ears clipped and
Mhm.
tipped, because we caught one of her cats, took it in, and it had already been taken care of, it had already been spayed.
Oh, I
Cat
see.
underwent a procedure that it didn't need to go through because she was not tipping the cats.
Mhm.
So we had a nice little conversation about that, and just kind of the right
Mhm.
things to do and stuff, but we ended up moving our colony off-site, for their safety, and,
Mhm.
in the process, we have 2 that ended up staying with us, Theo being one, and then Chow Mein being another,
Mhm.
that joined our little crew. So that's kind of our adventure into.
So, were the vets, were they sympathetic to the like the humanity of trying to control animal control as a citizen? Because to me, like I mean, not that I see veterans as price gougers, but I mean, for 3 shots, you walk out paying $800. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
So
I get it, there's a practice, but at the same time, this isn't my problem. This is a community problem, and I'm faced with that bill. Like,
yeah, so what we did was, I mean, there was a couple of different vets that we worked with. Basically, when we were doing it, we were getting the full workup. So everybody was getting a spay or a neuter. Everybody was getting all their vaccines, and
mm,
then if they were kind of passing the vibe check, where they could be actually brought into the home to kind of see if they would, are they going to be
oh, right.
have them, or are they just straight up street cats? Because
Hmm.
some are just straight up street cats, and you can't do anything about that. We would then pay for extra testing for like FELV and all of that. So all of it adds up, and so basically you're paying probably about, I think the most we paid was like 140, and so when
Okay.
you do that times 20 cats,
Hmm.
it's expensive, but that was our choice. The
Hmm.
only thing, no, there is no tax, there's no break. There's no break in
Hmm.
any of it. We're not an LLC. There was no tax break, there was none of that. So it was basically just kind of eating the money.
Hmm.
Um, but for the greater good, obviously, because we got our colony down, we got it under control, and we did a lot of really good work for these, strays that were just kind of booted out there and just repopulating like crazy.
Hmm.
But the only thing that the vets really kind of worked with us was, "Hey, I got a stray, I need to drop it off." And it was anytime. So, if I got them at like the night before, then I would just kind of keep them in the basement or the garage, or, basically the basement or the garage. Um, I didn't bring them in the house. And we did that a couple of times. It was a huge mistake.
Oh
So
no. Why? Oh, because like they would just
they're
like
stray, so they will tear up your house, and then
tear.
stray, and they don't know how to use a litter box, and
Hmm.
yeah, it was bad, and it took us, like, basically, we had a bathroom downstairs, like a guest bathroom, and I felt like it needed to just, it was bad. It
Oh
needed
my
to go.
god.
It was awful, trying to get the smell out, but, yeah, so we kinda kept them in, like, areas that were completely separate from the house that would be easy to clean, but, anyways, I'm gonna
Women
let
of
him out.
talking.
He's like, "I'm hungry," so I'm just gonna open up the door a little bit. No. I had it shut because I'm talking and I didn't want to disturb anybody else. But
It's
he's
all good.
hungry. It's almost 9 o'clock.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, so late. I keep on forgetting, like, cause yeah, you're on the East Coast, and I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. I can still go out and hit a store and get something
I
from
think
a
it's like
restaurant.
yeah, it's winding down. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, they were like, we could drop them off first thing in the morning, or if they were still open at night, we could drop them off the night before. But I mean, the dropping off the night before was very, very rare. It was
Mm-hmm.
just getting up and being at the vet's first thing in the morning. And then, basically being on call to pick them up whenever. And then when you get them back from the vet, you can't just like open up the, cage that came in and be like, all right, see you later. You got to wait for them to like come down off their anesthesia and be okay before
And
you can.
heal and things like that.
Not really. It's
Oh.
more the anesthesia because, there's other animals out there that are predators.
Mhm.
So we caught one of our cats, I think 3 times total, and the 3rd time was the last time we got her off the street, and that was right before we left, but
Oh,
she walked
yeah.
twice. The first time she got spayed, and the second time she's an idiot, so after that, though, she was smart, she knew what was going on, so when we got her off the street for the final time, it literally took an act of Congress and days to get her off the street because she was like, "I'm not going in that kennel, and you can't make me," so
Wow.
yeah, it was an adventure. I'm not networked in with anybody down here. I haven't
Mhm.
seen anything, not in my neighborhood, thankfully. I also have not seen any alligators in my neighborhood either, so that's a good thing. But, so it's just we're just maintaining our foster fails, so to speak.
Right. Or
And it's
foster gifts because it's only 2 out of, the 2 uh 20, sorry, yeah, that you went
yeah,
through.
those are not yeah, that's not bad.
No,
It's
not at all.
yeah,
And
a lot worse.
it's like when I remember when you were starting off with that, or when you realized that this thing was happening, it made me think about when I first moved to California, let alone, and I live in the valley, and like just like I don't know if I remember showing like FaceTiming with you with this, but um the backyard, there was a whole group of just feral cats.
Yeah.
And freaking I'd let my roommate's dogs outside to go potty. They'd run after the group of cats. They'd all scatter as cats do. And then 5 minutes after the dogs are back inside the house, boom, they're back in the backyard. And nobody in the neighborhood knew who these cats were for, you
They were
know?
nobody's
And they
cats.
were
That was
nobody's
why they
cats.
adopted a cat and they just became outdoor cats.
Mhm. It was
Yeah, and that's
weird. I had
exactly what
never
happened.
seen such a thing like that before in my life, and I was just looking
Yeah,
at my roommate going like, "Nah, my cat's not my problem." On one hand, but on the other hand, I was like, This is this California? Is this how it
right.
happens?" And I tell you, like, from being in LA for a weekend, it's the same way. There's just animals that run amok down there too, and in street passing. So, yeah, I was just like really curious and wanting to like have hoping that you would share that story, like how that problem arose, what resources you used, and like how it all like essentially it seems to me like a good turnout for those 20 cats.
Yeah, we definitely left there with our loose ends tied up. It wasn't nobody else was, we talked to neighbors because we weren't too sure if we could get number 20 off the street
Mhm.
just because she was avoiding all traps. Like she was like, no, it's not going to happen.
Mhm.
So we did network with a neighbor across the street who fell in love with her and wanted to, yeah, I'll go ahead and kind of keep feeding her. But I was like, I don't feel so comfortable just kind of leaving and
Mhm.
her still roaming, and what if they decide that they don't wanna do it anymore? Like, this cat is used to being fed,
Mhm.
and so she's used to she knows her name, and she's used to coming and eating every single night at the same time, so it did not feel right, and so it was in her best interest to just go ahead and, you know what? She's the last one, and she's part of the OGs that we initially trapped, the first year that I was there, so let's just this is a good way to just kind of be done, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um so like it is so coming down to the winter season, which means pumpkin spice lattes. I saw this video. I'll have to TikTok it to you. And by the way, I saw your TikTok of the nurse lady at outside the um the pharmacy, and she's like, "What are we doing?" She's like listing drug like over the counter drugs, and I was like, that store was probably down the street from where I stayed
I'm
in
not surprised.
Puerto
I'm not surprised
Vallarta.
at all. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised at all. My friend went to Mexico and she said that that's exactly what you do if you need, anxiety medications. You just make an
Mhm.
appointment at the pharmacy and then you talk to the doctor for like 5 minutes and they write you a script and you just walk over and there you go. And you can
Yeah,
come home with a whole year's supply. So I saw that and sent that to you because I was like, okay, what's going on here?
it's true. That's how the front windows look.
Yeah.
We stayed in a hotel that like right in between that was like there was two facilities and like right in the middle was a cafe that also right next to it was a vet and there was a dog that lives there. And so every morning me and Rudy would wake up, we'd go downstairs, we'd walk across the little alleyway, and then there's just this brown-eyed, blue-eyed dog just looking at us. And I'm like, I really want to pet you, but there's a piece of glass between us. Like that's just how I noticed Mexico was. And then right next to that was this outside cafe spot. So I'm just like, that's a nice dog. It's a
Yeah.
nice morning. And then right down the road is, a
Pharmacy.
pharmacy that's just not, I don't want to say wheeling and dealing, but doing their business.
Right, but, I know that working in healthcare, I
Yeah.
know that there are Canada's the same way, you can drive up there and get T3 if you want, and
Hmm.
people will come back and be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm taking T3," and I'm just like, "Who prescribed that?" "Oh, I went to Canada." "What?"
That's about
I
right.
was like, "Oh, okay, well,
But
alright, I'll add
also
it to your
but
list," but
also I remember hearing horror stories. Horror stories. I don't want to sound like Canada's like a horrible place, but being in the service, like every Friday, if they were like, "Who's going up to Canada?" Some potbelly chief would be yelling out, and we would just be like, hands up or whatever, and he'd be like, "All right, but don't any of you buy any aspirin because that shit's got cocaine in it or something like that, or like just I don't know, like it was like I'm sure it's an urban legend, like someone was like, if you drink beer, you're gonna have hair on your chest or something like that, or if you eat,
basically, they're just saying stay out of the pharmacy, and if you think it's
yeah,
Tylenol, it's probably a little extra Tylenol. You don't wanna be popping positive.
maybe that's a good thing. Like maybe there's a reason why. Like,
Yeah. No, but I knew about the bus trips, I knew about that,
hmm,
but I just figured, it wasn't until people were like, "Oh, yeah, this is what I'm getting," and I was like, "Oh, I thought you were just going up there because the drugs were cheaper, not because you can actually get additional things that, obviously some people feel that they need, which is,
hmm,
their prerogative, whatever." Um, but and then to find out that Mexico is the exact same way and to see you can gabapentin off the shelf. Really?
yeah, and even life-saving drugs like EpiPens
Yeah.
right off the like just right there. Like, hey, I have uh uh
Anaphylaxis. I need,
I have shellfish issues,
yeah, exactly.
like and
Yeah.
it's a port city, so guess what? you know?
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to, hear that is actually a thing and that you can come home with, like a year's supply or whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, I thought that TikTok was interesting. That's why I sent it to you. I was like, holy cats.
My friend John sent me a video of I'll send it to you, but it's about pumpkin spice lattes and I couldn't stop laughing about it. It's this whole lady just super super basic. She's like, "Oh my gosh, like what is pumpkin spice latte in season?" He's like, yes, ma'am." She's like, "I'll have one of those." Just like full pumpkin spice latte like a blowjob. Like it was
My
so
gosh.
weird. It's a cartoon, so of course they can get away with the animation
Right,
of it. But
right.
I was just like laughing, going like, okay, yeah, I feel seen. Because
So, like, full disclosure, I have not had a pumpkin spice latte in years. I
really,
I drink them so much, like, the beginning of, like, pumpkin spice season, like, all the way through, I was like, um another one walking around, it's not mine. You can see him.
not
Uh,
Theo.
no,
Oh, that's
that's Leo.
Theo.
That's
That's
Chow.
that's chow mein. Those are the two.
No, that was Leo.
Oh, Leo. Okay,
Yeah, Matt's cat.
Leo, Theo. We need to come up with like a better.
I said that too, but that's his name. Anyways, no, I was drinking them, and then I stupidly read the ingredients, and then I was like,
Don't
yeah,
ruin
this
it for
isn't
me.
okay anymore, and haven't been able to do it. But my new love is soy cafe lattes. Love, love, love those. So I've been on that kind of a kick lately. Um,
Lately, it's been like 5 years. A venti
no,
soy
that's macchiato.
latte
You're thinking
upside down.
macchiato. Yeah,
Macchiatos.
you're thinking of macchiato. That's different.
Okay.
But no, the soy cafe lattes is kind of a new thing, and I like it. But I also like blonde coffees too, which is surprising. I
I've
find it
never had a blonde coffee.
it's actually really good.
Is it
It's
just
kind of
colored coffee? Like, is it strong or
no,
is it like
not as it's not as so. I don't think it's like as pungent,
mm,
and it's not as bitter, at
mhm.
least in my opinion. But my taste is completely skewed, so I could be completely wrong.
Well, I mean, the bet. So I learned overseas in Turkey that if you have um bitter or considered burnt coffee, um, add salt.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I didn't
Does
know
it
that.
actually work though?
It did. It worked
Really?
for me.
Sometimes I get so angry when I spend all this money on a coffee and then I like take a drink and it's burnt and I'm like, what the fork? Like,
So
seriously?
just a little of salt, and let that
I'll let you know if I end up
dissolve.
with a burnt coffee this week because I'm flying out on Monday. I'm headed to, the Starbucks, of course, for my
Hmm.
Tuesday morning coffee. So I'll let you know if they mess it up. I'll be like, okay, let me try
Yeah.
the salt trick. And if it doesn't work, then I'll be like, you're a liar.
Not so when I'm saying like a little bit, I don't mean like, that little package of salt that I don't know if they still serve at McDonald's. I haven't been to a McDonald's like in my whole 30s. Like it's been one of those things. But like, the little packs. I'm not
Yeah.
saying like a little bit of that, like that's how much salt you put in. Just there's enough to kind of kill it. And then yeah,
I'll
apparently
try
salt does that. I was just like, that is
I
amazing.
don't
I
know,
had
I'll
no
try it. I
idea.
mean, either way, it's gonna be thrown in the garbage, so I either try it with a little bit of salt or I'm just, like, cursing that my coffee is burnt and I throw it away, you know?
Cursing that your coffee's burnt. They had one job. Your brother lied to you, and
Yeah.
and in turn, that guy from Turkey also lied to me. So
Right, yeah. It's all a giant lie.
across the world lie. I've
Yeah.
been like I've been like really sucked into this whole year. Like for I know that you watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. That's like your show. For me, it's like it's been a rotation of Star Trek, Star Wars, Star Trek, Star Wars, Star Trek, Star Wars. And I'm I don't know. Have you watched like the more recent Star Wars stuff?
So, I watched what's the one with the Baby Yoda?
Mandalorian.
That.
That
I need
one.
to rewatch the end
Yeah.
of that last season episode because I got distracted during the middle of it. I think I
Hmm.
just watched too much at one time and I just kind of got like, I don't know. I need to go back and rewatch the end of that. Definitely before the new season comes out. I saw that Andor came out. I have not watched
Yeah.
that. And then I watched the first episode of, oh, who's that dude?
Boba Fett.
No, no, no. Oh, I
Oh,
think I did see
Obi-Wan?
that one. I saw, yes. So I did see Boba Fett. Isn't Boba Fett the Baby Yoda one anyways? Isn't that Boba Fett?
Um, well, so a lot of us, the fans, kind of got upset with like the last. I got upset with the last three episodes, and why is because the two from the last one, and then the two before it were all like that's a man. Those are two Mandalorian episodes. They had nothing to
Oh,
do
that's
with
right.
Boba
Nope,
Fett.
you're right. You're right. Okay, so yes,
Yeah,
Mandalorian, yes. Boba Fett, yes. I liked Boba Fett. I know a lot of people did not, but I actually liked it.
I
Um,
liked it until the end.
I guess it didn't really like have that big of an effect on me. It was
Oh,
okay. I didn't understand like why, like, wait, what are we doing? But it wasn't
yeah, me
like
neither. Like that's why I was
no, it
like, well,
wasn't
this is
like
like
the end
two
all
hours
to
of
end
my
all.
life I'm never gonna get back again.
Right. No, no, no.
It'd be
I
like watching a Kardashian season, and then you get like two episodes of
Real Housewives,
yeah, and then you get the last episode and it's
and you're
the
like,
Real
okay,
Housewives and Kardashians meet
tie
at
in.
some
Yeah. Nope. I get
reality
that. Yeah.
TV show convention.
Right.
You're like, why?
Yeah. I guess to me, it just didn't bother me, I guess.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, I
Oh,
watched the first episode and I was like, "Ooh, this is really good."
it's
But
really
my whole
good.
house wasn't in this vibe of, like, watching it.
Mhm,
So I was like, "Okay, I'll just have to watch it some other time on my own." And I just have never gotten around to on my own yet.
mhm.
And I have not started Andor yet, but I did see that it was on there and it is in my like, "Ooh, I really need to watch that." I think that the thing for me is that, like, I kind of summer is my jam. So,
Yeah.
like, I love summer. I love being outside. I love soaking up the rays, but I think a lot of it is from, like, living in the Northwest for so long, the Pacific Northwest to be exact, for so long that, like, when it's sunny, you're outside. You don't go inside. You don't do anything. You don't watch TV. You
Mhm,
just are outside. That's your existence. And then you save up everything for winter because you know that it's gonna be long and you're gonna be
mhm,
stuck inside, and I'm not really a let's go get wet, hang out in the mud kind of a person. It's not my
mhm.
jam. I'd rather be warm and comfortable. And so watch TV in the winter, that's just what we did. Not saying that we didn't go out at all during winter. We did,
Right.
obviously, but I mean, it was not really kind of, oh, it's raining 5 inches today. Let's go play in the Olympics. No, no.
Especially with
Um,
that river going down the hill from our house, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
puddling and
Hey, get a
God
canoe.
forbid.
We'll be fine.
Right? Must have
Not,
heard.
yeah, it's not my thing. I'd rather sit inside where I'm comfortable and just, chill out. So since I've been down here, and I've only been down here for a few months, and just letting everybody know this is just a pit stop on life.
Yeah.
It's forever. It is what it is. Who knows? Um, but uh, and I don't plan to like any of like just straight across like not we're not talking politics at all because
Mhm.
it's just not my thing.
Yeah, me
Uh,
neither.
yeah, and it's just not worth it. It is with like if we were not online, I would totally
Mhm,
engage, but I don't want to now. But it's just very different down here.
mhm.
We'll just say that. But
Girl.
so getting back to TV, so I've been like, trying to like bank up, like, okay, TV, winter is coming.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had winter
Winter's
like
coming.
2 days ago and it was cold. It was cold. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, it was cold, but it was like a fall day cold. So
Oh,
anywhere else
okay.
in America, it would be a fall day cold. But down here, it was
Today was a fall day. Today was
yeah,
probably the first fall day that I've had in California.
it was very, very chill. Today was the first day that we got back up into the 80s, which felt nice. It
Yeah.
felt like a spring day back home. So,
Mhm,
it was nice. We actually cleaned out the garage. So, mostly because we weren't sweating to death and about to pass out from the heat and humidity. So,
mhm.
I think that there's going to be a shift where it's going to be summer is where I hang out inside because it's too hot.
Yeah.
And winter's gonna be more of my outside time, so, I think the snowbirds have it right.
I think so too because, like, I especially the snowbirds because, like, I feel like I'm more active in the winter than I am in the summer because it's just too stupid hot here in the
Right, in the valley,
valley,
it's very hot, yeah.
and it's like I had to, like it the most difficult thing for me is, like, in the afternoon well, 1, there's not enough sunlight in the winter to do anything on the bookends, so that shifts to the center of my schedule where, you know, taking the dog out, getting our walks in, things like that is in the center, whereas, like, in the summertime, it's on the bookends instead.
Right,
And then, like, getting used to that for like, maybe 5 months, and then going back to this thing, it's like that 2 months in between that, like, shifting that schedule around is really difficult for me, and I totally agree, like, um, there's some things that I plan for, like, the winter time to carry me through, but then there's, like, other things where I'm like this, "No, no, no, I'm going along with it. I can't I'm too invested at this point," you
right,
know? Like, I watch people on YouTube, that, talk about these TV shows as they come out on a weekly basis, so I can't just run the, you know,
yeah,
oops, if
I get that,
yeah.
there's a lot of, there was something that, showed up on Twitter, like, 3 days ago, and it was a docuseries, Frontline on PBS, right?
Oh,
You and
okay.
I talked about it earlier today,
Mhm.
and, I was like, "Oh, I really need to watch that," but I can't join the conversation now because that was 3 days ago. Well, 3 days ago, I wasn't in a place to even have that discussion, like,
Mhm.
I hadn't seen it.
Yeah,
And then I finally saw it and I was like, "Well, I'm kinda late to the party." Everybody else has already talked about it, so I don't wanna bring it back up, but
true.
yeah, so, um, yeah, I guess for shows, I have not started Andor yet. I've seen 1 episode of Obi-Wan. I didn't think that episode was bad. I actually was pretty like, "Oh, okay, I can get on board with this. Like, it looks like it's gonna be good, wouldn't mind seeing it." I'm kind of wondering when the next season of Mandalorian's coming out though, because it seems like it's been a year.
It's been Yeah, it has been a year because they did season 2 and then they did Boba Fett and then, Obi-Wan and then,
Andor.
um, Andor. So maybe Mandalorian's coming up, I'm not sure, but,
I don't know.
I'm curious. I mean, at this point, if they, uh if they dropped Mandalorian and just rolled with Boba Fett 2.0, that would make
Yeah,
way more sense than
continuing on with it.
continuing on,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
they've bled into each other, but, I don't expect an Obi-Wan season 2. I like season 1, it stands up, and the biggest joke in the community is, like, how old the kids are, right? Luke and Leia.
Mhm.
I think they're, like, 8 years old, or they're supposed to be 10 or something like that, but anyway, when New Hope kicks off, they're supposed to be, like, young adults,
Right.
right? And I'm like, "Damn, that desert did what to Obi-Wan Kenobi? Because we got Ewan
Yeah,
McGregor and then
yeah.
Alec Guinness."
Right, 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 yeah. I thought that was kind of interesting too, because I was like, "Ooh, he did not age well in that son."
Nope. Nope, but,
No.
a little tidbit, Alex Guinness's, granddaughter is in Andor.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, little family reunion there, yeah. I didn't
So,
know that until I looked at the cast, I was like, "Oh?" Like,
I will say I still even though we talked about this, like, I think it's been a week, I still have
maybe.
not finished the end of, Picard. I'm still haven't finished the end episode. What was that, season 2 that I said?
Mhm.
Yeah, I have, like, 20 minutes left. So here's the issue, like, I was like, "Oh, I'll just watch it while I'm in my room because nobody else likes this show. I do, I'm the only one. So I'm the
We
one
were
and I don't
raised on be
right,
learning how to be nerd
and I don't wanna have
bilingual.
to sit here and have to explain everything to everybody else. I'm like, "Listen, like, y'all had STNG, you could have been catching up, but you
Mhm.
didn't, and I don't wanna sit here and explain it all to you."
You have 7 seasons that you could cram in 1 week.
So I'm like
We had to wait in real time.
yeah, I'm like, I don't wanna tell all the storylines because
Yeah.
no, I just don't want to. So let me just watch my show in peace.
Mhm.
Anyways, for some reason, I cannot log in on my TV in my room to Paramount. So I'm like, but I can out in the living room. So first world problem, let me tell you. So I just have not finished the show either.
It wraps up. I will say that Picard season 2 wrapped up really well that I cried. I
Oh,
Star Trek, I don't know, like, the more recent Star Treks, there's, like, episodes where I well up, and I'm like, like,
okay.
yeah, I no, I'm not okay, like, it was something as simple as, I know you haven't seen wait, I don't know if I know, but I think we've talked about Discovery, and there was, like, on season 3 or 2 no, 3, because they are 4 seasons deep, season 3, where one of the characters who's been, like, a ghost, right? Like, a voice in the other character's head because they're, symbiotic, um, they go onto a planet and when they walk into the scene, they're seen as other aliens, right? Um, and out of the at the very end is the character that this person's been talking to alone, and he's just like, "All I've ever wanted to be is seen," and then everyone finally gets to see him, and here's me going like this, "He's been seen!" Like, I'm just
Real
like,
snuffleupagus drama
yes,
happened.
it was like classic Snuffleupagus, like, yes. And I'm over here going like this,
That was
"He's
huge when I was a kid because Snuffy was,
Big Bird's,
Big Bird's imaginary friend,
mhm,
and then, he was no, he's real, everybody's seeing him, but let me tell you, there was, like, seasons where Snuffy was not real.
yeah, Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you ever have a? I never asked you this, but did you ever have an imaginary friend? I
No,
did.
I know you did. What was it? Beepers, meepers, beepers, beepers.
Beepers. Yep.
I remember that. I used to have to hold Beeper's hand for you.
Yeah. Well, he did across streets. Okay. That's why Bing Bong like resonates for me as a character in Inside Out because he disappears and he's like forgotten in time and here's me going like not you beeper like I still remember.
So every time I see like a Muppets or something, it reminds me of you when you were little. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Because of Beaker and Bunsen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So Discovery, we watched that together the very first season, remember? Because I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't see the TV and I'm like, what are they saying?
And I'm having to translate Klingon.
Yeah, good times. I have glasses, I wear them all the time, and I got a bigger TV. So I'm gonna say,
No, we're definitely not getting into our old age too, like shit. At work, I don't know if you do this at work, but like I scroll the font to get bigger on my screen. So that
yeah,
12
because I need to
point,
see so many different boxes. I can't do that. I'm literally
um,
like this. What does it say?
yeah, right. I used to be like this, and then I realized like that's probably not good for my eyes because I forget to blink. And
Yeah, it's a mess.
that's so weird to say. I forget to blink.
I forget to breathe sometimes. I'm like sitting there holding my breath, and I'll be like, "You okay? Yeah, I totally just forgot to breathe."
No, I just died
Apparently,
for
it's
five
natural to other
seconds.
people. Yeah. So back to Discovery. I remember season one with you.
Hmm.
I think I watched part of season two, or maybe all of season two. I don't really remember it. I don't even like. I think it just had too much going on that it's
Hmm.
not sticking in my head. So I don't really remember it. I would probably have to go back and rewatch season two. If I were to jump into season three right now, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And if there's a season four, I am so far behind. Like it was good. I remember it being good. I just didn't stick with it. I think there was other things going on that just kind of took up my time.
I feel like for Discovery, season one set up like where we're at in time. Season two, I think, tried to blueprint it, like this is what the show is, like that we're
Right.
figuring it out. And then season three and four really solidified what that show is. So
I'm wondering how long they're going to keep that on, if it's going to continue going or
I
if they're
hope so. I hope the typical 7 year or 7 seasons. I
yeah,
really
I don't
want.
think that Picard will go that long. I think maybe one
This is
more
the
season.
last one.
Yeah,
He's
I
doing
didn't
three
figure that would
seasons and he's
be.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't figure it would be too many, to be honest with you.
Um. They did a like season premiere thing. They brought the whole cast back in
Mm.
from TNG days. They've got the residual cast from season one and two back as well. And the antagonist, I'm saying antagonist because and I'm kind of worrisome of like how they're gonna pull this off, but I also trust like they're gonna convolute something, is Professor Moriarty
Oh, no kidding.
is coming back to season three. They had like the
Yeah,
actor kind of
right.
dip in and it was weird because I was sitting there going like, wait a minute, the Enterprise blew up back in like 98, 97, and he was a hologram on that computer and that thing like went down. Like we all saw that go down and it's been over 20 years and how did he survive? Like I really want to know how this happened. What magic voodoo is going on here? I
It's
don't know.
TV. You're not supposed to question it. Do whatever we want.
Right. Yeah,
Have
exactly.
to make
So,
sense.
well, at least makes some kind of sense. Something that I can follow easily. I've gotten to that place where like I have to follow it. Don't get too crazy, I guess is where I'm at. Like, I'll go along with you, but I'm not that gullible anymore. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
Like, I
Yeah.
need something a little bit more. Um,
Well, I
so
definitely need to finish Picard before. When does season three come out? Do you know?
uh, next year.
Oh, okay. So I have time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have 20 minutes left.
Yeah, right. And that last 20 minutes, like I was feeling it. I was feeling the last 20 minutes of Picard too, where I was just like, shit, like this is good. Like they're wrapping up things that I didn't realize were wrappable. Like, you know
Well,
what I mean?
no, yeah, I totally get it, and I'm already kind of in that process of they're wrapping it up, so, like, I'm started that whole process, which I kinda figured that they would. I didn't figure that they would, like, leave too many loose ends.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, they're gonna leave something a little bit, like, to hook you in for the next season, but, yeah, it'll be interesting to well, I need to sit down and just finish it. I do. I just need to do that. Make some time, just do it, and just be like, "I'm taking the living room TV for 20 minutes."
I need Star Trek, and I also need to catch up with our extended family, the
Yeah.
Kardashians.
Maybe then when y'all are like, texting me and stuff and you're talking about it, I could be like, "Oh, I can join this conversation instead of muting everybody."
Yep. Actually, I've had to move that conversation off to a whole other text thread.
Yeah, because I was getting kind of a little
Yeah.
annoyed. I was
I
like,
was annoying
"Shut up
myself when
about
you
it."
said you were annoying. I was like, you were annoyed. I was like, oh shoot, that's right.
Yeah, like, "Stop talking about it."
Sorry. I was really excited. All right, let's get into never have I ever and a what if.
Okay.
Um, oh shoot. Okay. Uh, not that
Wait,
one.
is this never have I ever like, you're gonna ask me a question and I have to say never wait, tell me how this works because I kinda
Okay.
feel like you already know all my never have I evers. I don't think that I'm not a very closed book person, so
Me neither. Which is why this is perfect. But never have I ever is either you have, if you have, tell a story about it, or tell your antidote about it. If you have it, it's fine.
well, I mean, I'm not gonna make something up.
Right? Um, okay, so what if you receive an email that someone from Africa wants to transfer millions of dollars into your account?
Have I
What would
ever
you
received one of those?
have it? I've
Oh, I
never
have,
had.
but this was like the dawn of AOL. So you have to remember that you were still a kid.
Yep.
I don't know if people know how many years difference there is between
No.
us.
Only 3 years. Only a 3 year difference between my sister and I.
Yeah, if you go by my, what I identify as age-wise, yes, but no, in reality, there's a considerable difference in
And
our
the Starbucks lady who thinks that we're married to each other, which is weird.
yeah, that was weird. That was so weird, right? Like, seriously weird.
Like we look the same.
Yeah,
Almost. Yeah.
like, we kinda talk the same.
Right?
Okay, weirdo. Anyways, um, no, this was like the dawn of AOL. So, yes, that has happened, and it used to be, like, prevalent
I
through,
always
like,
thought that was like one of those
days.
like I always thought that the African Prince email was like a
Nigerian. It's
or a
Nigerian.
Nigerian or whoever. Yeah. I'm saying African because it's like they're on the card, but like the Prince email, like I will transfer you 1 million rupees and you just hold it in your account, then
Yeah.
I always thought that was like that one email and then it turned into a what do you call it? A, a urban legend,
Oh, yeah,
you
no, that's
know?
actually real, but, no, I mean, I was young enough that I knew better than to, reply to spam or anything, but there was and still is because I can't believe that people still let this happen to them, and I hear it on podcasts, like true crime all the time,
Mhm.
about these, women that are still, "Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and, send me the 5 grand," or I watch, well, I see it on TikTok, which I didn't know that it was actually YouTube channels where they actually, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I'm totally infatuated with this, um, for weird reasons. Don't ask. Okay, I don't know what's going on in my brain, but
Shazafronia.
I saw it on TikTok and I was like, "There's no way that this is actually a YouTube like thing that people actually do this." They obviously, like, people will call in, so it's not just the email scamming anymore, it's, like, the calling in
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah,
transaction
yeah.
that way, and then they sit there on the phone and they clock how long they can keep the ruse up, and before the person, gets frustrated who's trying to do the scamming and, and it's just to me, it's hysterical. It's absolutely hysterical because, these people that are calling in trying to scam people are losing their shit.
Right. Because that
And
time's
I'm just
money to
that's
them.
Still fall for
Yeah.
it, but people still fall for it, and it is unfortunately, it's our parents' generation because, the older generations are now kind of dying off basically,
Mhm.
and it's now our parents' generation is the old generation, and, you know, it's that they're the targets, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I just hope that, I don't know, somebody is kind of keeping an eye out, I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the old classic, what do you call
Yeah,
it? The well, they weren't MLMs. They weren't called MLMs back then, but they were MLMs, but
pyramid
it
scheme.
was
It's a pyramid
the
scheme.
pyramid schemes that they used to do, like the dollar in a
MLM
envelope.
is kind of yeah, it's kind of the same.
That was like grandma's thing.
Yeah,
Generation, and then the phone heist people are happening now for our parents, and then who
right,
knows what we're gonna get, you know?
right. I think that all of us are pretty I would like to say pretty smart about,
Yeah.
that's spam. We just chuck it. Like I don't there's no Nigerian prince that's gonna marry me and give me $1 billion.
However, there is that TV show, 90 Day Fiance,
Oh
where
no.
that one lady was dating a guy, and she was like, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a hip hop artist," and she's like, she's totally sold on the dream, which like great, awesome, support your local artist, but not local. I think she was from like Oklahoma or someplace like that, and like he's from a whole other country on a whole other side of the pond, and freaking she's funding him. She's just, at the end of the day,
But that's
and
just I think that just kind of low self-esteem, like, it has to be because I don't understand.
me
I've
neither.
watched I would say probably I would not gonna lie, I got hooked into, like, 5 seasons of 90 Day Fiancé.
Me too.
But this is the whole, like, I'm moving, there's nothing else to watch. People are like, "Oh, have you seen 90 Day Fiancé?" "No, what is this train wreck you're talking about? Let me"
Mhm.
oh my gosh, and next thing you know, hook, line, and sinker. Like,
Mhm.
5 seasons in, then I moved and I got to the new place and was like, "Yeah, I don't have time for that." And so I just never picked it back up, but,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what goes through people's minds, I really don't. It's probably the same thing that goes through the people that, answer the scam phone calls, kinda like my favorite is the IRS.
Oh, yeah, that happened to me.
You got a warrant out for your arrest. It's the
Mhm.
IRS, and I'm like, "Well, come to the damn door." I mean, at this point, I'd rather just go sit in jail to pay off my my taxes than actually pay my taxes. Because damn. Not really, because I don't wanna go to jail, but
Your boy would bail you out, like,
True,
"Y'all pranked me.
true.
Oh my god, you guys pranked me so hard."
That was
I
good. I
was
actually have that saved because I saved it to Snapchat,
Yeah?
and at first, we called that guy I married, and, it was my sister oh,
Mhm.
well, our sister,
Right.
and, he hung up on her. He was like, "Nope," and he hung up, and then you were on speakerphone, so we called you next
Mhm.
because we were like, "Okay, that wasn't fun," like, he didn't
That
even
was not the
bother
reaction we
playing
wanted.
along, like, I mean, he didn't even bother playing along. I think he just knows us too well. So, we called you next,
Yep.
and at this point, because she had practiced,
Mhm.
so she was a little bit better, at the whole story, and we kinda worked out a few kinks. So, called you next, and
I'm in the hangar, by the way, at my job at VFA25, and I have my phone on me, and I'm doing paperwork on an aircraft discrepancy book, just making sure that the documentation was correct in it. And it's a hot summer day, and my phone rings, and it's a phone number that I've never seen before. And so I answered it, and it's on speakerphone because I'm still reading documents with both my hands and listening. And it's a Friday, so flight schedule's over with. We're just trying to wrap up and go home. And then this phone call happens.
Yeah, it was but I mean, honestly, of all the pranks that we've played on you, that was probably our best. That was probably our best work. Um, so you're on speakerphone and she's like hysterical, like, "I don't know where Sandy is. She left me." And I'm just like, bitch, run faster. Like, I don't know what to say. Like,
Which, by the way, in real
if
life,
the
that would make a
popo's
lot of
coming, I'm
sense.
out. I'm not sticking around. I don't give a shit. I'm out. No, done. So yeah, so she, ends up going to jail was the whole thing. And it was the King County Courthouse. Which that recording alone was just pure gold that we even found that. But doing that, and then you literally are like getting a hold of me and you're like sending me a text. I still have the picture with like who to call, how much is bail money, how much money you have that you could put towards bail. Where the hell am I? And I was just like, well, I thought she was behind me. Like,
Well, I'm thinking between you and Sherry, freaking, I know that you're gonna jump a fence line. Her, she's gonna have to like run around the block to catch up to you. You know what I mean? Like
I'm straight up like,
in my
yeah.
head, I'm like, that makes sense. Like I don't know why that makes sense, but that makes sense. When in a pinch, you and I can jump the fence lines.
Yeah, we'll be like, we're out. We're like Olympic short, I don't know, like athletes. We're gold medalists at this point.
Right?
We're gone.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but it was
gosh.
the hardest part though was like watching her and the dramatics
Yeah.
and like how she was like channeling her inner like crazy, and I'm sitting here trying not to laugh because I'm literally snapping this whole thing as it goes down, and I'm trying so hard not to laugh so that you don't hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that was probably some of our best work
That was
to
your
date.
best work. Yeah. What if you were
Eventually, we'll grow up one day, not right now.
Yeah, no, no, no. What are you what if you are dancing at a club and other patrons start tucking small bills into your underpants?
Oh, well, then
I
shit, I'm
mean,
just gonna keep going because 'cause I'm getting paid.
yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't give a shit.
I was like, I've never been paid whilst dancing at a club, but
Yeah, neither have I. I mean, 20 years ago, I would be like, "Oh, hey, lucrative business," but at my age now, I'd be like, "Well, shit, guess I still have it." I don't. I think I'd be more flattered now.
what if the yacht you just bought tips over while you are on the toilet?
Okay, well, I don't do boats, so
Well, if I had a yacht, I would I there's actually a movie that starts off that way, like the boat's capsize and he's like
and that's why
living.
I don't get on boats.
I've never had that personal
Poseidon,
problem.
isn't it the Poseidon Adventure
Well,
where
that's
the
one.
boat completely flips all the way upside down and then they're trying to get out of the boat, but they're like upside down trying to get out
Yeah, that's
and they're
one of them. That's
flying.
like that's a good scary movie.
But that was like the original one, not the
Mhm.
remake one, like the OG one from,
Yeah. The
I don't know, I think it was like the 70s or
70s?
early 80s. I was a
Yeah.
kid in the 80s when I saw it, so
And I was like in my I was like maybe 11 when I saw that one too because I don't think the remake was done yet.
no, I think that that's like a
So
2K
maybe
thing.
I saw the
Yeah,
yeah, maybe I saw the OG one
that scared the
too.
bejesus out of me. I was like, "Yeah, no, thank you."
Right? Like I still to this day have memories of a movie. I don't remember what it was about, but I do remember that there was a whole bunch of people that were in like this hotel. It was like a skyscraper and
Oh, Dante's Inferno, is that what it's called?
well all I remember is everyone's watching the television. We're down in the basement of our home and surround sound and all that stuff's going on. But then like the elevators, like people went into the elevators, went allegedly down. That elevator came back up, and everybody was on fire and was running out of the elevator
I'm
into
like,
the lobby. I
I
don't
swear
remember.
that's Dante's Inferno. I wanna say that that's what it is, but I also don't wanna be, like, wrong.
Right. Yeah. I don't know either. But I remember that scene, and I was a really little kid back then. And I was sitting here going like this. That was scary. I wasn't even 10 years old yet.
Maybe I should put you and I grew up very differently.
And my first
Because like
horror film was with
you're like
you.
at 10, you're like, that was very scary. And I'm like, by 10, I had seen like all the Jason movies, all
Mhm.
the Freddy Krueger movies, which by the way, if you watch Freddy Krueger, the OG, like way back from the 80s through,
Mhm.
they're hysterical. I'm just
Yeah,
like, I can't believe that that scared the crap out of me as a kid. But
right?
um, no, maybe it's not that. I don't know. We're gonna have to like dig deep because what I'm seeing,
My first scary movie was I Know What You Did Last Summer, and that was with you.
that's so good. Oh yeah, you're welcome.
I remember that. And shortly
That's
after watching that movie, you're like, "Oh, hey, I forgot something in the van. Can you go out to the garage and go get it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I need to desensitize." Like, I didn't even know what desensitizing was.
so that's funny that you brought that movie up because that was actually I just talked to my kid about that, the
Yeah.
youngest, who's also an adult, but talked to her about it, and we were talking about how that was my first like young adult book that I'd ever read. And
Oh,
honestly, so when I was a kid, I didn't know about young adult books. It was either you had kids' books or you had adult books. There was no young
right.
adult section at the base library. There was no young adult section in the exchange. That
Mhm.
wasn't a thing. And so when I moved to the States, all of a sudden there was this young adult section. So that's when I like discovered all the R.L. Stein books.
Mhm.
And then I found I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I read that book probably like in a couple of hours. I read that whole thing. And so then when the movie came out, I was like, oh, we got to go see this. And that movie scared the crap out of me, like the very beginning. And I hadn't even read
Yeah,
the book and it scared the crap out of me. But I was like, yep, you got to go see this movie. Because to me, and keep in mind, I'm not your parent.
true.
Um, to me, that was a lot less traumatic for a
Mhm.
scary movie than being allowed to watch half the crap our parents let us watch when
Demons
I was a
and
kid
Jason
versus
and
right. So that's
yeah.
what I'm saying, like, you were not raised that way, I was. So, I was careful, apparently, maybe a little too much with that one because, um, Poltergeist scared the crap out of her. I'm like,
True.
"What?" I Know What You Did Last Summer, we actually just had a conversation about that, and she was like, "Oh, that was a really good movie, but it scared the crap out of me when I was a kid." And I'm still sitting here like, "What?"
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean, I think it was,
um
isn't Sarah Michelle Gellar in that
yeah,
movie?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
she
the part
she's
where
like
she's, like, tucked in and then he's just
yeah,
going
the
at
problem
her.
never yeah, yeah. I mean, it's such a good book. The book is a good and I
I'll have to
actually
read it
we
because
still
I
have
didn't
the
know it
book
was
in
a
the
book.
house. Mhm. It's a quick read. Yeah,
Okay.
it's really good. It's just, a teen
Yeah.
book, an adult. Yeah, it's good. It was nice to be like, "Oh, okay, there's actually a section that I can read that,
Nice.
is quick, fast," and I kinda was like, "Where's this been this entire time?" I probably would've read more books.
When I think of, like, young adult, or young adult books, I think of, like, books like The Giver, Lord of the
Mhm.
Flies, and, well, I mean, a lot of the, new wave dystopian books that came out most recently.
The David
Even
Lynch series, Hunger
yeah,
Games, yeah, Twilight.
Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, all those books, those YL books are, like, what I think of, but, like, for me specifically, I thought, like, even something like, Narnia was a YL book, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it had those kinds of themes, but it wasn't exactly exclusively YL, so, yeah, like, hmm. I'll have to look into I Know What You Did Last Summer because I didn't even know it was a book. I never got that far into it. I just thought it was in a whole group of, slasher films like Scream, you
No, it
know?
was actually a book, and, it was nice to see it brought to life on the screen,
Mhm.
and I would have to say that it followed pretty close, like, I wasn't disappointed, I mean, I was glad that I always the book is always gonna be better.
Yeah.
I was glad I had read the book before I saw the movie, so I was glad that it wasn't, done in reverse,
Mhm.
so it was nice, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Have you gotten to, reading MASH?
I already finished it. Holy
So, how do
crap.
you like that book vice the movie? Because you and I grew up on the movie,
So I noticed yeah,
but
I
then
saw
reading the book
the
so many years later
Having seen the movie before, also there's a few episodes that are actually kind of intertwined into it.
I
The
told
whole
you that.
football scene, the football one,
Mhm,
and the dentist part, I actually kind of just I didn't read it like
mhm.
I didn't read it like word for word. I just kind of like
We know where
binged
this is going.
and then just kept flipping pages until it got past it because I already knew basically they took a huge part of the movie
Mhm.
and wrote it almost word for word out of like 3 chapters
Yeah.
and turned it into an hour and a half. And so it was wow, yeah. I mean, I'm glad I read it. I'm not going to read it again. It was kind of a one and done thing.
Mhm.
But I feel like I've seen the movie and I've seen the show so many times that I kind of it was a little lackluster to me, to be honest with you, because I
Oh,
was
the book?
expecting, yeah, I was expecting
Really?
it to be more
Oh,
instead of identical.
yeah.
So that's kind of I felt like I was just reading the episodes.
Yeah.
To me, it just I was like, all right. I mean, I took it to the pool and like read it and was like, all right, next.
I thought
That was
that
actually
Oh, no, what's up?
no, it's okay. I always make a goal every year to read 3 books. Life
Mhm,
is busy. That's all I have time for. That's all I've had time for 5, 6 years now.
mhm.
That was book number 1 for this year that I actually completed. I'm in the middle of 2 other books, like, halfway through, and I've been reading them for a year now,
Yeah.
both of them, and then I finished, Jeanette McCurdy's, "I'm Glad My Mom Died" book. I
Oh, that's a hot book.
and did you have you read it?
No, but
So
I've heard so well, one, I know the actress you're talking about. I know the crap that she went through.
right,
And so, like, getting our generation's mommy dearest is is very interesting to actually live through. Because 'cause I've heard about mommy
right.
dearest. I know about Joan Crawford, I know about her daughter, but, like, at the same time, I'm sitting here going like this.
I think that if you have any kind of parental alienation happening,
Mhm,
narcissistic parents, stuff like that, you're definitely gonna relate to it on a level.
mhm.
Don't try to compare your
Trauma with someone else's.
right,
Yeah.
because it and that was something that was hard for me because immediately I was just like I was reading it and there was a few horrifying parts in there that I was just like, "What the hell? Like, are you kidding me?" Moments.
Mhm,
But when I was talking to my girls about it, I literally was like, "That was bad, but let me tell you, her mom was a pussycat compared to someone else I know.
mhm,
And someone else I know would have eaten her up and chewed her, like, spit her out for lunch. Like,
mhm.
there are other people out there that have done, like, awful, awful things, and I'm not trying to discredit or say that what she went through was not awful. It absolutely 100%
Mhm.
was. But I've witnessed firsthand other things that other people have done that are just like, there's no
Yeah.
ends. There's no end. So I understand how she felt. I understood, the title of her book. I understood, like, all of I she was justified 100% all the way down the line,
Yeah.
100% just it was a fast read.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it really was. Like, read it in, like, a day, I think. We all read it pretty fast because we did, like, a little book club afterwards. So we did that. Every time we do this, I think of Joey from
Oh,
Friends.
yeah.
What are his names?
Or, this from, Fifth Element. This
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyways, it was a really good book. That was number 2,
Okay.
um, and I just kinda trudging through the other 2 books that I'm halfway through. I'm halfway through both of them, so I'm
Okay.
just but
I read Dante's Inferno. That was earlier this year,
so then you
and,
would know if that was the same movie. It's not, is it?
so Dante's Inferno is no, not your Dante's Inferno, but Dante Inferno, the author Dante, his
Oh,
his story
right.
Inferno. No, 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 not the other Dante Inferno. No, no, no.
It's like, dude,
In
we just talked about this.
Inferno by Dante, I should say. I went through that. It's a part of a trilogy, I guess. I didn't know that, but yeah, I went through that. It was a really cool experience to read a epic poem story and the allegory of Christianity and the turn of the century there that was happening, and Age of Enlightenment practically. And then I'm halfway through a series of Edgar Allan Poe stories
I
because
love
I'd
Poe.
never done EA Poe before. I've
Oh,
read
really?
like, yeah, I've like, I know a couple poems by
Mhm.
hand, but like that's it. I don't know any of his like stories.
So
So,
he was actually required reading for me when I was in high school. That's
oh,
how I was introduced to Poe. And fun fact, there's actually a Poe museum in Richmond, Virginia. So I haven't been yet. It's on my
yes.
list. I keep seeing it, and I'm like, every time I go into town, I'm like, I should really stop by there.
Did you know that EA Poe is a unsolved mystery?
No.
Yeah, so we don't know how he died. He was found in a gutter during an election season because and people think that he got scooped up and then was shuffled around between what do you call it? Well, between the states, but like they would register him as
Oh,
different people in different counties, and then they would force him to vote for their candidate. And when they were done with him, they murked him, you know, and no one knows who it was, how he got caught or got caught by those people.
right.
And yeah, so unsolved
People are
mystery.
evil.
EA Poe, one of our great um, literary peeps. I had no idea. That's like something from school that was never brought up.
Oh God,
I,
no.
I would feel like that would be like the first
We're
thing we need
like,
to talk about. Great
yeah,
author. No one
let's
knows
talk
how he
about what
died.
really happened to him. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. I never heard about that either. It was, read these poems and then write an essay. I think I still have the essay. Got an A.
I can only sing Annabelle Lee with Stevie Nicks. That's the only cool trick I've got up my sleeve. Here's our shower thought. It's much harder to find your phone when you live alone.
No, I don't think so. So maybe pre like Apple Watch days.
Yeah? Oh, I don't have one.
Okay, well, I can just swipe up and find my phone. Because you know how many times I lose my phone? I don't know where I dinged it twice before you even called. Like, I was like, "Where's my phone?" And I just swiped up and hit the thing, and it echoed out, and I was like, "There it is. That's right. It's over here by the TV," or, "Oh, it's buried under 10 pillows on my bed." Like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so no, definitely invest. It's worth it. I
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, it's worth it, and I was a huge Garmin fan before this,
Yeah, I
and
know that. Yeah.
over to an Apple Watch just because I was like, "Oh, is the battery gonna last as long if I, like, go for a run or whatever?" It's totally fine. Like, I haven't
Okay.
had any issues, and it has fun little I could do an EKG on my watch if I wanted to. Yeah.
I've been waiting on an EKG for 3 freaking months.
Well, I mean, you're that's not gonna count.
Well,
I'm saying that, like, if you think, like, you're sitting here and you're just like, "Yeah, I'm kind of a little short of breath," and you can take your pulse and your pulse ox, and then you're just like, "Something might be going on. Let me just check the EKG really fast, make sure I'm not having, like, a myocardial infarction,"
mhm.
like, make sure I'm okay, and you can just run, like, an EKG really fast on you. I mean, it's not 100%, but it's definitely will tell you if something's up,
It's
so
helpful regardless, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then sometimes when I'm texting you, I actually will do it off my watch. So if it looks a little weird, it's
Oh,
because I'm on my watch. Or if I can't find my phone, like my phone is always on silent, always. If
same.
I can't find it, except for when you ring it on the phone, it actually will be loud. But if I'm off in a different room and you call me and I don't know where my phone is, I don't know where I put it, I can actually talk to you on my watch. It's kind of like it's like go go gadget.
Yeah, it's like being a Power Ranger or something, like,
Yeah, it has a really
"Zordon!"
cool, like, walkie-talkie little feature, and so I can walkie-talkie you. So, it's the weirdest thing. I'm telling
'Cause
you, like, you definitely
Rudy
need to
has
invest.
one. I'm like, "Wow, you're really, like, connected to everyone and everything because it just goes nonstop, right?" And I'm like, "Well, there's probably, like, a setup where you could, like, have a, like a what's it called? Like, a schedule? Like,
Well, it's just like your apps. I mean, you can
yeah.
turn off notifications, so the only thing I get notified for is, like, text messages or breaking news, but around
Mhm.
here literally everything is breaking news. I shit you not. Everything is
Hurricane,
it's not even that.
alligators.
No, it's not even that. It's literally like, um, Susie Q ran the stop sign. That's it. Nothing else happened. She just ran the stop sign. It's breaking news. Susie Q ran the stop sign. Well, shit.
Oh my
Like,
god.
it's so bad to the point that when there is breaking news, like I already checked one alert while we were talking. I've already kind of like looked like, what's the breaking news? Because I needed to, is this really breaking news or is this just some bullshit?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's bullshit. And I don't know how to like
Yeah.
fix it because I don't need to know about these things that you guys think is breaking. That it's not even news, to be honest with you. It's just not news. And it's not because I'm saying it's not news. I'm literally telling you nobody cares that she ran a stop sign. Okay, nobody was injured. Nothing happened. She
No one's
just
dead, no active shooter. We don't care.
right, exactly. Tell me about the important stuff that I need to hear about, like
Yeah.
actual real breaking news,
Hmm.
like um yeah, there was actually an active shooter, I guess, today, at a hospital. No breaking news. Didn't even know about it. But
Wow.
I get
But
breaking
Susie,
things
yeah,
about something that is so it doesn't
she
the
didn't hit the
harasser
button
or whatever
before
they
crossing
did
the
today.
street.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's ridiculous. So, that's my biggest complaint.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'll definitely
um,
have to ask Santa if he can hook a brother up because, or at least Santa Sean.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like it, so I don't have that issue, sorry.
One last thing before we wrap up. Actually, two last things. First thing is I want to share with my podcasters what we have implemented for the holidays because it is
Oh,
brilliant. Here's the thing, and the reason why I want to bring it up is because I've been telling because like the seasons are rolling around. Um, and a lot of families are still doing what we've been doing since plague times for the past 2 years now. And I told them, like, I found in you, I think you and I agree on this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Um, the first year during plague times, everyone buying at least one gift or two for everybody was
right,
so complicated. And
yeah,
then what we came up with was like pretty much a roulette of pick a number between 1 and 8, you
right,
know? And then that's your person for the year.
right, yeah.
That is so brilliant. A lot of people at work are like, oh, why have we never thought of that? And I'm like, we should patent this.
Actually, a lot of people already do it. I kinda heard about it from someone else. So
Oh,
for
really?
me yeah, so for me, it was kind of implementing somebody else's idea, but because we're just getting so much bigger, our family's just getting so much bigger, not
Mm-hmm.
better, but bigger. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
better too, because 'cause we're adding more people and it's kinda fun, but,
Mm-hmm.
just, we're adding people, more kids, everything. It's so much money, and the amount of money that I spend on shipping is actually more than what I'm paying for the gifts.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "This is ridiculous," and I can't begin to tell you how many times I've been like, "Yeah, I have all this stuff for people, but, like, you're gonna have to come visit me because it costs
Yeah.
me, you
Actually,
know, too much to mail out." It's ridiculous.
so a
So,
battery charger
oh,
that
chargers.
is right, like a battery charger for a camera, this thing will just say, for example, cost like $20. It
Right,
still costs like $10 for shipping and handling,
right,
you
yeah,
know? And it's like I just got like a piece of machine or a Euro rack module in, and it was 450 for shipping. And I'm like, I should have just driven down this weekend to your shop and picked it up for free. It would have been
yeah,
cheaper, a waste of
and
my
you would have
time,
gotten
but
it. Yeah.
damn.
It's just it's ridiculous. So, yeah, definitely doing kind of a roulette thing. It's myself
Mhm.
and one of my kids. In case something happens to me, there's a backup. So,
But I really like this tradition of like just being responsible for that one person for the
right.
year, and then you get to pick like and you can send in your wish list from anywhere, Amazon, Target,
Mhm.
um, Wally World, wherever, and then there's your shopping list, and
Right.
you pick off like even like with our nieces and our nephews, like there was like a list, and I was just like, oh, bam, 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 and then I was like, Uncle Sean and Rudy,
Yeah.
bang,
Done. done. Don't
So
even have to
easy.
worry about any of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that yes, last year was a really big success.
Mhm.
It it just worked for us. And I thought, okay, let's do it again. I mean, everybody really liked it, and everybody really liked having the Secret Santa kind of aspect to it, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, so it just really kind of worked. And I'm kind of hoping that people aren't putting too much thought into like, well, who did okay, if I got this person, then who got this person, who got that person. I hope that they just kind of everybody just kind of leaves it like a secret throughout,
Mhm.
doesn't really put too much effort into it. I have one little, CSI agent that, pretty much has the whole rundown before I need to be
Anyone
finished.
else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I still need to recap. I gotta go through our text messages and remember I gotta go back and remember which one I'm
Well,
responsible for.
I have it, like, saved,
Yeah.
so I have it saved, so if you have forgotten your number, then just let me know just let me know, and then I'll
Sure.
just resend you, who your person is for the year, but,
Yeah.
yeah, it was actually yeah, I'm glad that we all decided that that was kind of the route that we needed to go. I think that financially, it's better for
Mhm.
everybody, and it's fun, so
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's more fun, and I think it's also, financially, better because, again, that one shipping cost is, like, done on that one package or, like, 2 if it happens to play out that way.
yeah,
So
for
last but not least, what inspires you today, this week, or this month?
oh, lord. I wasn't anticipating that. How about you go first?
Okay, so what inspired me, to well, actually, today, it was actually last night, was, I was streaming on Twitch, and one of the guys that, organically found me playing video games was like, "Hey, do you wanna play this video game together?" And I was like, "Sure, stranger person," and come to find out, he's from New Jersey, he tokes up, he likes playing scary games with me. We were playing scary games together. It was a great 2 hours later, and I was like, "Holy shit, I can't believe I've been not, like, wasting, but I can't believe I've been, like, so involved." Like, it's like it
Right.
was so inspirational to, like, finally see, after a year's almost a year's worth of time, uh, to organically find people who are interested in things that you're also interested in and not feel like I'm alone in that niche, you know?
Right,
'Cause
right.
survival horror games are, innately, not a small it's not a big community. It's a small community, much like Star Trek or Star Wars. It's just that little group of people that
Yeah,
only they
yeah,
know what they're talking
right.
about. Um, and then, this 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 week, I've actually got my, coworker to, throw in the hat. He wants to, do Bob Ross week with me.
Oh, good.
So this weekend on the 29th is Bob Ross's birthday, and I'm gonna roll up with my painting gear. We're gonna sit out in his backyard, lay down the tarp. He's gonna watch a video. He actually wants to do a Bob Ross painting. I'm gonna do my own thing, but because I've been thinking about this painting for a long minute, and it's super cool. It's like it's gonna be like a nebula and like water,
Oh,
but like
nice.
reflections.
You'll have to show me a picture of your, like, finished work so I can
Yeah.
see.
I'm
Um,
really excited for it, and, like, I know he's gonna be doing, like, happy trees and asking me about how to make clouds and things, so I'm really excited about that,
that'll be fun.
and, so yeah, I'm really inspired I feel really inspired by Bob Ross again, like, this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to say for inspiration, I'm redoing my house. I'm redoing my house. Not contracting out. It's all, like, learning
We already contracted before,
skills.
right?
I haven't contracted anything. I've
Uh,
actually done everything. I mean, minus, like, floors. I don't do floors, but, like,
I don't do electricity.
I don't do electricity either. I mean, big stuff that I absolutely cannot do, I
Yeah.
will not do it. But, being inspired to, like, jump in and actually learn a new skill and, like, study up on how to do it, so
Mhm.
it's kind of inspired by other people's, ability to get in there and do it and kind of show the ropes and, tips and tricks and all that other stuff. And
Mhm.
being in the garage today and actually finding all of my painting stuff. And I'm actually going to redo all of my ceilings. They have orange peel on them right now. It's like a textured, it looks like orange peel.
Ew.
It's god awful, and every home that we have toured down here is the same.
God, that's so annoying.
So I'm gonna do smooth ceilings. I'm gonna smooth them out and, completely redo them, and I'm okay with the texture on the walls because it reminds me of our home back in Washington,
Mhm.
typical, late '90s textured, nothing gross, not like the ceiling. The ceilings are something else.
Yeah.
So, um, walls are fine. Did learn a little tip and trick on how to get the paint up to the ceiling with a textured wall without it
Okay.
getting onto the ceiling, so I'm gonna utilize that. And then just seeing, like, overall resilience of people and how they just are on a daily basis is pretty inspiring too. So,
Mhm.
I have to. That was very generalized, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still, like, relevant and, at the same time true, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for potting with me.
Yeah, it
I
was fun.
appreciate that, sis. You're like the only family member who's ever done it.
Yeah, it was fun, and you could hear probably my dog snoring. She's been snoring the whole time.
Oh my gosh, little bean.